old were you when you started working? It seems like you were like the little kid, like laboring for sure.
I was. Come on, I'm from the South.
What did you do?
I worked in a watermelon farm.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Catching watermelons, and you throw, and you catch, and you throw.
Every now and then, Gallagher just shows up. Whammo!
So why did we just see a photo of this next to a toilet? Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Champion.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Champ,
I
you should have a
appreciate
crown
that.
on.
No.
Can we
that
take
does
that thing
spin.
off?
That does spin. No, you know what? Like a lot of times, these trophies just you get a photo of us like holding it at the event while we get it, and then it just disappears forever. And I just thought it'd be fun to have a little joke with it and start putting it in places that it doesn't belong for a couple
Like a
photos
gnome.
for like a week.
Like a garden.
Yeah, the Travelocity now.
Yeah.
And then you got a ring.
I did get a ring. I got a ring and a watch.
That looks about right.
It's hella big.
It's like a super.
Can you send us that?
Yeah, it's like a Super Bowl ring.
Really nice.
And funny enough is
not
it's
You didn't hit it hard enough.
It's the right size.
That definitely wouldn't fit Nigel's finger, so they fit it for you.
Here, funny enough is the watch is like it's so big I can like spin it around my wrist, like huge.
Yeah.
And which like I don't know whose wrist they were making it for, like and that out of those 8 dudes,
They thought I was gonna
that
win.
had like just a hella
Beast
big wrist.
Yeah. They thought it might go over a monster wristband, so they're like, it's gonna need a little more space.
Or like you just slide your hand through it.
Actually, it's more of an armband.
Yeah.
You're a trendsetter now.
It's a belt, right? It's a
It's the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt.
Maybe you could
That's
talk
what
to
they
them
should
about
do.
doing that. Yeah.
Belts would be cool.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, so Chris, is there any point in the contest where you're like, I know I'm gonna win this? Like, at what point does it hit you that you're gonna be the Street League champion?
It doesn't hit you until you've won. Until it's like nobody else can possibly win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you start to get like anxious, like holy shit, is this actually gonna happen? When you look there's a monitor up where we stand, there's a monitor and it says it'll say Nyjah for first, it'll say like 10.2 or something like that if he's out of contention for it.
Yeah.
And so you read down, you see like who's possible and who's up next, and that's when it starts to get anxious. Like, whoa! Like if he doesn't land something that's worth like an 8 point something, then I got it. You know, that's the moment. But you're still like, holy shit.
But you knew as soon as Paul bailed his trick,
Yeah.
it was over. It was done.
Yeah. It was. You know what? It was definitely a different emotion at that moment. You know, you always get stoked for somebody to make their trick, but that was definitely an instance when like I was like, you know, if you're gonna miss any switchfoot back tail, I wouldn't mind you missing this one.
Yeah.
But it was pretty heavy.
I don't wanna hold it wrong.
Hammer time.
There's
There's no way to hold it wrong. There's no way to hold
Precious
it wrong.
cargo.
At least the truck's on the right way.
Yeah, that's
true.
You didn't get the
That's
back.
exactly
They
what
fixed
I said.
Nyjah's backwards truck, didn't they?
Did they fix it?
I think they did.
Pretty
Sure about
good,
that?
right?
How could the truck ever be backwards? How could that have happened?
Okay, you know what? That shit happened, and it's like it's crazy that it happened.
Back of
It
the
got
board?
through everyone. Like nobody noticed
Checks
it because
and
nobody's
checks and balances.
gonna check that. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna look at that.
Yeah.
And it got through like
It arrives in a box
Deer
like
Deck,
that, you know.
Atlas, everybody at Street League. It got through everybody.
And then it's in
And
all
then
the photos.
we didn't even notice when it was like up on the podium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They like pointed it out in photos afterwards.
Oh, it was the worst thing ever.
I know, you're like,
it's like so embarrassing for
you
everyone.
you just won some serious biz, and it's like backwards. Like bummer.
Where'd the name
hair
Wiggins
was
come
fine.
from?
Clearly, I need a wig. So
Is that it?
no, that's not it. No, Jamie Thomas gave it to me, and I was probably 15. I used to if we were like at a party or something in Alabama growing up, like and a fight broke out, I would try and break up the fight, and then somehow I'd end up beating up both people in the end. So he'd be like, "Then you wigged out," and then it went into like this fight nickname. I don't know.
So you guys grew up together in Alabama?
Yeah.
And then he moved out here and went
Yeah,
pro
yeah.
and started Black Box and all that. And then,
No, he moved out here and turned pro, and then I moved out and we started Black Box together at the same time.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you were there from day one.
Day one.
I was trying to think, like, in the history of Black Box, who's come through the doors as a rider who was like there for the shortest amount of time?
Oh, he'll tell you.
Sierra Fellers.
It was Sierra,
Probably Sierra.
not Ragdoll.
Ragdoll was never really on though. Never never had like an ad like on, you know.
And that was longer than Sierra anyway.
Yeah. Probably Sierra. He's the only one that got kicked off too. Ever.
Wow.
For no reason, because it just didn't fit. He's a great dude. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just didn't. Yeah. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him. I was kidding.
He's the only one who
Good
got
dude.
kicked off. Cut. Just like, that's it.
Go to black.
See, how long were you there? 15 years or something?
13 years.
13 years? What's like the single craziest thing you can think of that like went down as being part of Black Box?
Everyone.
That you can say
that you can
right
say.
now. I mean,
One really great story is when Bobier got his face blown up.
I knew that was going to happen.
Got your
Yeah, we've
face
been-
blown up.
No, I got lead punched me.
In Paris. We were in Paris.
Oh,
It's
that's
not
why
like
you're blocked.
unusual for Lee to punch someone.
No.
No,
It's not like
in Lee's
crazy.
defense though, he was a little asshole.
I deserved it.
He was drunk and going nuts.
This was the first night I'd ever drinking red wine in my life. I was probably 16.
Oh, you
probably
went,
16,
you went
right?
pirate. Yeah.
Yeah, so this restaurant had a giant barrel of red wine that you
Yum.
could go refill for your table whenever you wanted. So it was like
Nice.
unlimited red wine. By the end of it, I stand up and I'm completely blacked out and I don't remember anything. But apparently, the story goes, I'm outside, like talking shit to French people. The worst case scenario you could ever imagine, like some dumb little American kid, like
Oh, I remember.
acting like an asshole.
Yeah.
It all just
He
came
spit
back
on
to
Lee.
yeah.
You spit on him, right?
No, I spit on Lee when he punched me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you're talking crap to French people.
Yeah, and I'm about to get beat up in the
Chicken
street
egg.
by a
Yeah.
random person.
Yeah.
Because he speaks English, and I'm thinking like no one understands what the hell I'm saying
Yeah.
in France. And so Lee like comes to my rescue and like creates a diversion. So he gets me out of there. We're in the car. He's like trying to get me to calm down, but I'm just angry. I don't even know what was going on. I literally have no recollection of any of this. Like
Yeah.
this story was told to me the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm being a little shithead, and he ends up popping me, and my nose starts bleeding. I'm like spitting blood on him, trying to like thinking that I have a chance at fighting the dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, give me a chance.
you could totally
And
take
he's just
him.
laughing at me. Mumford's like hanging on to me. The weird thing, all I remember is the smell of like Mumford's leather jacket. That was like my memory.
But did you smell leather or was it like stinky?
Yeah, it was
memory.
terrible. This was like a week into the
Therapy.
tour. It smelled like shit. And then I woke up the next. Oh, well, all that happened at the hotel, which
Yeah.
no idea.
I had to carry him downstairs on my shoulder so he could call. I think he called your
I
girlfriend.
was probably trying to call
I'm
my
gonna
girl.
call my mom.
I was like, come on, I'll carry you down. And then I'll carry you back
That
up.
phone call was probably great.
Yeah.
I don't even think I figured out how to work the phone. Actually.
No,
You
didn't.
carried him like this.
Yeah.
Don't act like you carried him over your shoulder. You
ca-
carried him like
no,
this.
I carried him with his legs over my shoulder like this.
Crotch in your face.
And I was like, I'll take you downstairs.
Is having that role at Black Box all
Motorboating
these years,
balls.
like, is it like having like 27 kids? I mean, you have all these brands and all these riders, and you're getting into a million instances like that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
yeah.
I'm sure it
That,
was.
no, it is. It is for sure.
Having kids you hate.
You know what it is? You know what's good though?
Rotten.
It's like having way more than 27 kids, but in the end, it's like you have a shit ton of friends because you're like, remember that one time? Remember that one time? And you just
Yeah.
go through this whole, and now it's like a full like diary of dudes.
Dude.
Yeah.
Diarrhea of
That's what I was like, oh, diarrhea. Tell me more.
Yeah, gross.
Well, I just
Dudes.
know that like as our industry progresses, there's a lot of kids out there who might not be pro, but they might end up with jobs like yours or jobs like Erica's.
They will never
Right.
be Wiggins. There's
Yeah,
no.
I think getting a perspective on that is interesting because
Yeah. Yeah.
you've had so many people come through your doors
Right.
essentially.
Right.
And
It's cool to see where people go though. You know, to see
Yeah.
guys like Ryan, you know, or Lindsay, or all these guys that you see. Like, the crazy part is because when you're growing up, you want to be pro. You're like, I want to be pro. Like, I want to do this. And like, I had a zero ad a long time ago, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be rad. And you realize when you're working in it that people's careers are very short, like skateboarding careers. I mean, the lucky ones are longer, you know, like, but you see it from the very first time that someone gets sponsored to the last time they get their last check. So it goes to the whole. So it's pretty interesting to be like calling a dude and being like, hey, we're gonna put you on flow, and then call a dude and be like, hey, we're gonna not pay you anymore because you're kind of taking naps. So it's like, you know.
Sorry, Sierra.
That's crazy.
No.
Yeah, some people's run are shorter than others.
Yeah.
So how about you, Ryan? You're pro.
Technically,
You're still skating.
Yeah, I got a board.
Are you also working at Black Box?
I
as
am.
well?
I'm the team manager.
You've been on that side of this a bunch
Yeah,
of times.
a couple times. Brought
So you're
together.
team manager for
Zero mystery and fall.
for everything. Almost.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah. Wearer of hats.
yeah. So that's been going on
Sender
for a
of
little over a year now.
Who do you have to send the most boxes to?
Theotis? Even though he's not on.
He's not even on. He's just
It's Theotis
It's weird. I
though.
don't know what he's.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think it's Theotis.
It's mystery boxes.
It's been really good. You know,
Nice.
it's kind of something that I always had in the back of my mind. You know, it's weird because it's, you know, skating professionally is like a hard thing to let go of. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you don't want to say that you can't do it anymore. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because you feel you can still skate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just like
can.
fuck. When you can't pay your bills, that's when you have to open your eyes and be like, fuck, what am I doing? You know?
Hey, you beat Midler in that battle royale, though, right?
8-year-olds, dude.
Is he 8?
He looks 8.
Just kidding.
No, he's pretty tiny.
He rules.
No, I puke in my hand, shit my pants, and I'm like, oh man, like,
Oh,
I'm like, oh man. I rent a car and I drove 17 hours straight home by myself.
Instead, I ripped my dick off and everything. And I was like,
No, yeah, Bastion, dude. He looks at me, he's like, hey, I'm tired of this shit. You better watch out, I'm coming for you.